It's getting hot in central Missouri. Cicadas roaring in the background. Gonna be 90 degrees today, humidity up. Oh yeah, things are changing. Something else is changing, maybe not for the good. I thought about doing this video for a long time. It's just in the back burner, but with all the stuff coming up lately, I thought it'd be a good time for it. Cheating in bass tournaments, it's nothing new. I could tell some good stories. I'll probably tell a couple of them right now. But whenever you put money up and ego involved, folks are gonna cheat. There's gray areas in anything you do competition-wise, and peeking in those gray areas sometimes okay, but the guys that run right through them, those are the cheaters, especially intentionally. So I'm gonna talk about a time that I did something, I cheated. Well, I broke a rule anyway, so I'm gonna talk about that. I've seen a bunch over the years. I've seen blatant cheating. I never did catch anybody weighting fish. I know it's happened, I'm sure it's happened. It's horrible, and a sport that I love makes it even more horrible. I gotta kill a skeeter. Oh, look at that, got him, huh? You don't mess with 60-year-old man's reflexes. I'm gonna keep talking about the Solar Bat thing, y'all, because it's a really good product. I'm proud to be part of it. I got a cool story I got to get on about something that happened to these glasses a while back. 30% off sale through Father's Day. Take advantage of that. You guys need prescription, need the, like probably I need pretty soon, the sunglasses. Good way to save some money. Check out the link in my description below. Thank you. So of course, warm and humidity and lots of rain, we're gonna have skeeters. That's the first ones of the year back here. Time to do some spraying, I guess. Spraying. Years ago, I found a big box underneath the dock. And I don't know how big that box was, cage. It was accessible from the top of the dock. It was pretty well thought out of. And I figured out who had them, and we got them scared off. They didn't weigh any fish that next day, and those fish disappeared, and that box was gone the next year. So I remember that was the first time I ever ran into blatant cheaters. That thing was full of bass, and they used to come in all rubbed up in red. You see those things, so that was pretty blatant. But the gray area thing, and I don't think some of this is gray. Randy talks about it all the time, and Randy's been there and done that. Man, he knows. But I used to cache fuel. I used to we had 18-gallon gas tanks, sometimes 24-gallon. It was a long time before we got more gas than that. This is back in the day when outboard motors, like my old motor now, did not get good fuel economy. I had a spot on the river at Lake of the Ozarks, shoot, almost 60 miles from the major takeoff, and I could barely make it there. It was close, and I used to keep at least 12 gallons there, which just got me able to fish up there and get to the next gas station. I think one time I put 18 gallons there, and I used some. It was a mess. It was hard to figure out how to do. Then one day we pulled in there and my gas was gone. It was on private property on the edge of the lake. Somebody got my gas. That took a major rethinking. That made for a tough fishing day. So, but thinking that way, that's the only way we could fish there. We was on a tournament once on Truman. They said no caching of gas. Now Truman Lake's only got 5 marinas, and if you had to run or wanted to run up the longest arm of the lake, he's out of luck. I asked the tournament director. I wasn't going up there. He said, well, I guess nobody's going to be fishing up there then. Kind of limiting. I don't get it. It's how that could be against the rule. I mean, it's legal for everybody. I mean, everybody could do it that wanted to do it. It took effort to do that. Chainsaw in my bass boat in practice back in the day, I did that. And one time I cut a tree that fell across the creek, had another 75 yards of fishable water, and they was there. This tree had fell across. You could kind of get through it, but it was a mess. I broke a windshield trying it. So I cut that thing, about that big around all it was, but a big old sycamore. And I cut it, and when I got down, I put it back on top of the stump, so it was still there. Yeah, that was probably pushing gray area, but my effort, my work, I blocked that creek, and I never saw anybody else in it anyway, and I did win a tournament in there later on. Not against the rules. It is now, apparently. Getting out of the boat. What kind of stupid rule? You ought to, it's way better to get out of a boat and drag it across the sandbar than to risk your life or your partner's life running something like that. A boat gets hooked up and turns into the bank and somebody gets hurt, but against the rules. Randy sinking his boat. That was genius. I don't know if I would have ever done that. I would have took windshields off. I would take cowlings off. I took a cowling off once. Didn't have to take a windshield off. It's close. I don't know if I would have sunk a boat. That's genius. That's using your head. That's thinking. I mean, if they can use forward-facing sonar, you gotta be able to sink your boat, make your own brush piles, pull a boat over a sandbar. It's effort. It's work. It's way better than trolling or using a minnow or using forward-facing sonar. And I'm never gonna stand any different. That's just the way it is. I did those same things that Randy and other guys did over the years, and I consider myself just a thinker. So I'm fishing a pretty good sized tournament on Truman Lake. Early 90s, something like that. And we're on them pretty good. And I had a limit that morning, I don't know, 35 minutes. No big fish, but I had a nice limit. My partner had 3 real early, fishing behind me. And it was strictly a jig thing. 45-degree chunk, transition stuff, getting ready for the spawn, April. And it was biting, and it was kind of an all-day thing, so I was pretty good shape. We pulled into this little pocket. We tried to get there earlier, and a guy had been there. We pull in there, and using 20-pound monofilament, and you've got to retie a lot, and I guess I hadn't retied. I stick this fish, I mean thump, I stick him, and he broke off immediately, snapped. And you don't know, some bites are bigger than others. This was a thump bite, and I just had time to go, oh shucks, and this fish jumps. It's a 4-pound something fish, a good one. My partner he goes, man, that's a good one. I barely had time to get down to the bottom of the boat to get another jig out. The fish jumps again, and he jumps in the splash well of the boat, back by the motor. Such a... My partner jumps back there, he pins him down. And I said, well, cool, I get my jig back. He goes, you get more than that. You get to fish. I said, what? He said, it's your fish. You caught it. No, I think you... He said, we're putting it in live well. I said, man, dude, I don't know. He said, yes, we're putting it in live well. Now, back then, you could keep over, you didn't have to, the state limit was 6. I could have 6 in the boat. He said, I think you caught this fish legal. This is before cell phones, of course. I don't have one anyway. We fished by another hour, and we caught, actually, he filled his limit, and I think I called one 3-pound fish into a 3-pounder. And I said, we got to go. We ran back to the weigh-in area, and we found an official. He got a hold of the tournament director at the marina. He came down and said, what's the problem, fellers? And I said, you tell him. He told him what happened. He pulled me aside, said, what happened? I told him. He said, what do you think? I said, I don't know what to think. He said, here's what I think. That fish wouldn't have ended up in your boat if you hadn't set the hook on it, right? It wouldn't have just jumped. I said, no. He said, I think it's your fish. He said, I'll make it real public. We won't hide anything. At the weigh-in, he made a big deal out of it. I had a nice string that day, and that fish was my big fish. And it is that gray area. The tournament director himself ruled that fish was a legal fish. So I always felt weird about it, but he said yes. Everybody, and I had people talk to me and making fun of me at the weigh-in. Nobody seemed to mind. If they did, they kept their mouth shut. One of the big no-nos in tournament fishing is off-limit areas. Some of them are kind of ridiculous, but like Scott Martin and his throwing over a wall. I've thrown over bridges, under bridges. I've thrown over a road and caught a 5-pound bass before. It's not off limits in any tournament I ever fished, and that wasn't a tournament anyway. I think we were guiding, but I 5-pound, not good, not ethically not good. I caught a 5-pound bass, had to drag it across a gravel road to get in the boat. That wasn't, I wouldn't do that nowadays, I don't think. I couldn't get under the bridge. You know, I mean, man's need to explore and try things. It's strong in bass fishing, really strong in bass fishermen. It's horrible. So for me, one rule is the gas dock rule. It's always been a little weird and hard. How do you enforce it? But I've seen guys disqualified BSS tournaments right here at home for fishing within that 50-yard limit. What do you carry, a tape measure? It just seems weird to me. gas docks can be obviously in good places. And it's ingrained to me enough that when I'm fishing for fun, I see a gas dock, I don't fish it. That beat into me enough. Life jackets, zipped up, kill switches attached. There's a good one. I like that one. I like that one a lot. But that's safety. Safety makes sense. But gas docks, I don't know. Weigh-in areas, sometimes public weigh-in areas, there's limits. I kind of get that. Some folks make a career out of fishing for release fish, for pet fish. I kind of get that. I've never really worried about that much. I don't like fishing for release fish. I always felt like I liked the wild fish, and I got my butt beat a bunch of times over the years by people fishing for those pets. Some places have lots of them. So I did break a rule once, for sure, that I know of. Not on purpose. So I guess technically I'm not cheating if it wasn't on purpose, but I didn't turn myself in either. The last pro tournament I ever fished, early March 2001. Pro-Am tournament at Lake of the Ozarks again. I had a decent bag that day. Not a winning bag, a money bag. I think I had 12 pounds. And we pulled into the last spot of the day I fished, and I caught my biggest fish of the day. And my partner knew it was my last. I couldn't help but talk about this. My last time. I've been doing this forever. But we're going to have baby girls, have twin daughters. I'm done tournament. I wasn't fishing good anyway. I caught that 4-pounder right there at the end. And he asked me, "See, you ever broke a rule in a tournament?" I said, "Oh no, never. I've always felt like it's too much fun to do this the right." In 2001, our Missouri Department of Conservation changed the way they did things. It used to be all the permits were due to be bought January 1st. People gave them away as Christmas presents for somebody. You buy their permits for them ahead of time. That year it changed to March 1st. I never thought about it. It dawned on me that I was fishing without a fishing license. I was breaking a rule. That come up here recently somewhere. I did it. I never said a word. He laughed about it. I laughed about it. He never said nothing either. My last tournament ever, after 20 years of being perfect Boy Scout, true, well, except for gray areas like cutting down trees and caching and fuel and all the things that weren't against the rules. Yeah, I did that. I broke a rule. I cheated. I think I got $127 or something a day for like 7th place, 8th place, maybe 227, whatever. So I cheated. I broke a rule. Whatever. I hate cheaters. I hate lawbreakers. I hate people speeding and run over me down the highway. When I'm going 5 over and they're running over me, I hate that. So there you go. That's my stuff. That's all I'm talking about. God bless you guys. Thanks a bunch. Don't be a cheater. Bye.